A lot of reaction this morning after President Obama acknowledges that the botched Obamacare rollout could affect his ability to lead. Watch this.
In terms of how I intend to approach it, I'm just going to keep on working as hard as I can around the priorities that the American people care about. And I think it's legitimate for them to expect me to have to win back some credibility on this health care law in particular and on a whole range of these issues in general. And, you know, that's on me. I mean, we fumbled the rollout on this health care law.
Wow. Minnesota Republican Congresswoman Michele Bachmann joins me now. Good morning, Congresswoman. Good to have you with us this morning. What a news conference that was yesterday. All kinds of emotions in it from the president, concessions from the president. What was your personal reaction when you watched it?
Well, I sat down in my office, I watched the entire thing, and I was really incredulous with the president. On one hand, he wanted to take personal responsibility, but on the other, he had no interest whatsoever in changing the problems with Obamacare. He's invested in this bill. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work for the American people. He's going to continue it as it is. As a matter of fact, the White House announced last night they will veto Fred Upton's bill, which would allow the American people, if you like your health insurance, you can keep it. So the fix that the president offered was a political fix for himself, for the Democrat Party. But the bottom line is they're in even bigger trouble because the American people will think they get to keep their health insurance. But the fact is, from the press conference, they won't be able to keep their health insurance. The only thing that will happen is that insurance companies will write a very confusing letter to their formerly canceled policyholders, and nothing's going to change. People aren't going to get their health insurance policies back. That's why the president has such a credibility problem, and this will only make it worse for the president.
It was interesting because I was covering for our affiliates the president's news conference yesterday, and we thought it was coming at 11:35, and it was, at least 45 minutes late. And all I could think was, what are they talking about in there? What are they hammering out about this statement that they are not ready to go yet? And we may or may not find out the answer to that question eventually. But really what the president said, in my mind, and the way I listened to it, was we're going to allow insurance companies, if they want to reinstate what they've called the substandard plan, they can do that for a year. It doesn't force them to do that. It doesn't, unwind any of this program. It just says if you want to, you can. I mean, that's not very powerful.
It's not powerful at all. Nothing is going to happen. And again, the president made a gross miscalculation. He's raised the expectations of the American people at this press conference, so they think they're going to be able to keep the health insurance plan they want. But remember what has to happen. The state insurance commissioners have to first approve these plans. There's relatively little time for them to do that, if at all.
Well, he's going to talk to them, and my guess is that he's going to try to, strong-arm them a bit to get them to do exactly that. But let's talk about the political side of this for a moment, because the president, in many ways, it could be interpreted that he rushed to the podium yesterday because Fred Upton has his bill, which was going to give people back their health insurance, and we're going to learn more about that. We're going to speak to Fred Upton in a few minutes, in fact. So he went to the podium and said, no, Democrats have a fix for you that's better than the Republican fix. Stay with me here, everybody. Trust me on this one. Do not defect, because he's speaking really to his own Democrats. So how many Democrats do you think are going to vote for Fred Upton's bill today?
It's panic mode, and it's anybody's guess, because I think if Democrats are really listening to what the president said yesterday, they know that the American people are going to be just as bad off today as they were before the press conference. In other words, they won't be able to get their health insurance policy back. But on the other hand, they know if they vote for Fred Upton's bill, at least they can go home and say, I tried, I voted. They're in a real quandary right now because the head of their party, President Obama, wants them to stick with him. That's a bad bet in my mind for Democrats. If they vote for Fred Upton's bill, at least they can say that they tried. But at the end of the day, that's not going to help the American people. The 5 million expected to go up to 15 million who lose their health insurance and won't be getting it back, because once a retailer pulls a product off a shelf, they don't put it back.
Yeah. I wonder what you think about this before I let you go. House Republicans voted 38 plus times to repeal Obamacare. During the government showdown, they were accused of being everything from terrorists to arsonists because they were holding health care hostage. And how dare you be so mean to the American people that you don't want to cover them with health care? You know, how do you feel about that at this point?
That's all vaporized as we knew that it would, because again, the American people expect competence. They expect their lives will be better, not worse. We hate to say we told you so, but quite honestly, we all look like geniuses now because we predicted this would happen, and we don't want this to happen because we want people to have the health insurance that works for them, for their family, not the health insurance government wants to force down their throat at the price government wants them to pay. Ultimately, I have great hope. I really do believe we'll see a very positive, new, innovative private health insurance market come up to fruition that's going to help all Americans. Well, I'm really excited about that.
The burden on you to really make that clear to Americans what their alternatives are, because people are so confused. I got to leave it there. Congresswoman, thank you very much for being here today.
Always
Good
a pleasure.
To talk to you.
Thank you.